Hey friends, today we're going to unbox the Megahome water distiller. It is the market leader. This one isn't for me, this is for a friend. I recommended it to them and they've gone ahead and bought one and asked me to set it up. So I thought I would take the opportunity. I don't actually have a Megahome myself, but everyone I've spoken to and people I know who have one, and I've tried one before, the water comes through a cooler, and because it has a slightly bigger hood, I think. That's the one thing I've noticed. And the other thing that they boast is that they are the only one who has this marine grade aluminium. So it's definitely the market leader. It does cost about 50, maybe 80 quid more than the cheapest models. There's a little, comes with a little, I don't know if that's just a discount card. I'll have to have a look at that. The only way to get absolutely pure drinking water is to use a water distiller. The distillers create the purest water, purer than any bottled water, water filters or reverse osmosis. Megahome is the world leading water distiller. It is the quality option and comes with a 2-year warranty and money back guarantee. It's also the only water distiller you can buy with a UK service center. Now obviously if you're in America or somewhere else, I'm sure that'll be the same. Megahome water distillers are reliable and proven in independent tests to create purer water than other brands. Find out about the full range of distillers online. I'm going to put a link in this because I will get an affiliate payment. You won't pay anymore, but I get 15 or 20 bucks, I forget. I didn't tell these people to use my link. I didn't expect them to go ahead and buy one so quickly. So I would have enjoyed to get a little 15 or 20 bucks gift. Doesn't cost you any more. As I said, okay, here's the distiller itself, out of the packaging, out of the posting box. There it is. As you can see, it's got a really nice water jug, and it must be, if you're getting a distiller, you know, and you're going for a slightly cheaper option, just make sure you get one with a glass water jug. The plastic catches are just not the right thing really, and when it comes to, you know, you want as much as possible for the water never to go to plastic if you can, you know, because this distilled water is magnetic. It's going to they say it's going to start eating away or leaching away at the plastic, and of course you don't want that in your drinking water. So glass to glass, maybe store it in a 5 litre or 8 litre. It comes with a little handbook, instruction manual. We'll get to that later. Glass bottle warranty. Comes with a warranty as well for the catching glass. I haven't seen that before. I've had a couple of distillers now, and so they haven't lasted always as long as they should have done. So it's a nice, as you can see, it's got a nice compressed foam packaging, so everything should be good. What's this? Activated charcoal, very important. This is the final stage of distillation to get rid of any volatile organic compounds or VOCs. So you need to have this as the final stage, and I think when you run a distiller for the first time, you're going to get a bit of the charcoal come through. That will show up in your, if you've got a TDS meter, that will show up as being 10 or even 20 parts per million of something else in the water, and it's typically this, and it'll fade after the 2nd or 3rd cycle. But you need that to pull out the organic compound, the volatile stuff. So let's take this out without wanting to turn it upside down, but I might need to. It's all very well contained in there. The jug is inside the distiller. That's how they all come. Cool. Let me turn this right way up. I see some electrical stuff. Oh, I don't mind my book here. Still available on Amazon, but no need to plug that. I only get a few pennies in the pound. This is a very important, the water distiller cleaner, and you'll find that you need to do this probably once a month, possibly more. And you know, after every cycle, you should give it a scour out of the clean. But you'll be, if you've not used one before, you'll be absolutely blown away by the amount of stuff that comes from. Pop that down there. And there. cracking open like an egg, like a cosmic egg. Or ASMR yourself on that. Now here she is, what a beauty. The Megahome 4-litre countertop water distiller. Bit of foam there. This one only has a reset button. Sometimes they come with an on and off switch and a little red light or a little indicator light to show that there is power coming into the system. I think that that is worth having. So that's one of the things I would say that the Megahome doesn't do where some of the other brands they do. I'll notice straight away that this cable here has been shortened. I wasn't aware of that in any previous ones, but most of them come with a little bit of slack so that you can move the head, the dripper head, one way or another. But this one's very strict. It's got a very short track, so that you always have to set it this way. When I look in the top, can you get a little closer? When I look in the top, I notice the cooling fan has got more blades than the others. Typically they have 4 blades. This has got, I think, 7, and there are smaller blades. And this cooling head is a little bit deeper because these radiators inside here are what is going to take away the heat from the steam as it cools into dripping water that comes out this side. Now what I'm expecting to find when I open this up, pop the seal. Oh, look at that. Okay, I'm going to unplug this for now. So, gently, we'll remove the water catcher, and always they come like this, stored inside of the distiller for their own protection. This one I noticed has got a few pieces to it. This is obviously the lid. I'll unbag that in a moment. This is the glass carafe. It's quite thin, but yeah, it's quite thin, but it's obviously fit for purpose. And these straps are going to be what we fix around here to create the handle onto the jug. So we'll do that in a moment. There's another box here which I think has got 2 important parts. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, okay, that's part of the handle for the jug. This is the dripper catcher, the final stage where the activated charcoal pocket or pouch will sit inside of here. And the activated charcoal pouch will need to be soaked before we do the first run. And then this is, well, I'll have to work that out because this is either the handle for the, perhaps there's a handle that goes somewhere else. I'll have to get to that. I'll tell you what I was expecting to see. Let's have a look. Because normally, and maybe they've changed that, but if you notice in here, there's no sort of retaining flap. All of my other distillers have got like a retaining flap that sits over here, which prevents water splashing as the water boils, water splashing. But I assume they've decided that that's not necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh, here you go. Look, this is slightly different. It's interesting that this is actually plastic. I was expecting this to be a metal catch with some white insert there. This will need to have its charcoal. Here's a bag of charcoal, I'll show you. Looks like a tea bag. They normally come with a dozen or so. Here you go, this has got 6. And each of these can last 2 to 3 months. Probably longer, but it's recommended to replace them every few months. So we'll soak one of these and get that in some water to prepare it to go in here. And then the water on its final way out from steam to back to water goes through that, and it catches any off-gassing. Let's see how this fits on here. One of the things that I struggle with mine typically is the see, you notice that actually if you have a quick look in there, this part normally on distillers is a latex, and this one is aluminium. I think this is one of their boasts, that they haven't needed to use that piece there. They've obviously bent a bit of aluminium there. So that's a pretty handy thing. But yeah, in its final stage, it's obviously dropping into this plastic collection club, which is, I'll have to look up what this white insert is, whether it's something, a special plastic that is super impervious to picking up any distilled stuff. Oh, that's pretty easy, I have to say. So they've got a little clip in. There will be clip in and clip out to take this off. Okay, it should be easier than that. I might have to look at the instructions on that. Don't want to force it. Well, that's clipped in. I'll see about getting it unclipped so I can get the sachet of activated charcoal in there. All right, so we'll interrupt this now so I can just do the various fixes, and then we'll pick it up after that. Okay, so what I needed to do was take these two metal straps and bend them back so that the nut part sits inside here. It's quite a good design. And then this is the handle, which will go on this way. It just worked out that this has got to go onto the handle. So these two pieces come together. Quite intuitive, he says. That'll come on afterwards. I've got to do this first. Obviously this is a bit delicate. I don't want to damage the bottle in any way at this point. It is the most vulnerable piece of the puzzle. Okay, so I had the handle, I was mounting it upside down. You might have noticed that. Just want to make sure it's aligned with the spout. And we'll tighten it up. We're going to run one full cycle of water through that. Probably give it to the dogs. We don't need to drink it ourselves. Just to clean the pipes, clean the whole thing through. Okay. Click that in. Click that in. And the handle is done. I mean, once this has got 4 kilograms, 4 liters of water in, you want it to be a fairly sturdy handle. Okay, that's that. We've been soaking the charcoal for a little while. I'll probably call it quits there. Now the manual instructions here, I read them quickly while I was doing that, and they recommend every 25 days, which is a bit of an accurate number or an odd number. So I guess it depends on how many liters you're going through, how many cycles a week you're going through, and also down to taste. You know, they say that the taste will start to deteriorate once the sachet gets past its best life. So keep that in mind. Now, as you can see, that is pure stainless steel, super clean. It's going to be hard to keep it that clean once you start cleaning your drinking water. The tap water around here has got about 300 parts per million, 280 parts per million, which is about right. well, that's typical, I should say. And we should get that down to 2, maybe 1 even, but not for the first cycles, as I said earlier. All right, let's go and fill this baby up and get her running. Oh, 1 minute, I did forget to take this off. So this does break off in that way. Didn't break it. Does break off in that way. And then this sachet gets dropped in here. They recommend you can use 1 or 2. We'll go with 1 for now. And then pop it back on. I noticed this one, get that on. Yep. I noticed this one doesn't have a handle on top. So typically when you remove it, you're going to pull it off in this way. My distiller broke the other day, and I had an old canister, and I fitted the other hood with the old canister, and they didn't quite fit, so the water was just steaming out of the side. So what I did was I flipped the gasket on the inside, and it made it tighter, and so it's worked. But it means I can't turn this hood upside down because it's got water sitting inside the gasket, and that kind of messes with things. Anyway, this is the other thing we'll be needing. Obviously, is the power, and it's, as usual, it's twisted up. Remove the 3-prong cover, and I'll put this on once I've got this full of water. All right. What we got here, I didn't realize, is at the back there is a separate on-off switch.
2 military helicopters.
This has got an extra on-off switch at the back here, so that's quite nice to have an override. That means you can turn it off when you want to. It's quite a quiet sounding fan. Obviously the new ones do sound quieter as they build up dust and grit and stuff. They do sound a little heavier, a little noisier, but this one, as the first listening, is like, oh, that's nice and quiet. It's not too noisy, much quieter than those 2 helicopters that just flew over here. Okay, now all we need is the collection jug. It's probably going to take about 20 to 25 minutes for the first drops to come through, but I've almost filled it to capacity for this first test run. Let's go and get the jug. Okay, so here's the prepared jug. It says it's got a little Megahome sticker on the bottom. So I'm sure that'll start looking a bit grotty after time. What this one doesn't have, and that the others do have, is like a rubber gasket that sits on the bottom to stop it from slipping on the surface that it's standing on. Do not use glass bottle if the handle becomes loose. Use 2 hands to lift it. Do not heat the glass bottle. Yeah, you can put boiling water in here and it'll probably shatter, so not a good idea. I made that mistake once. Do not clean with scratching materials. And if cracked, please stop using. But I think having the rubber gasket is an advantage because, this is a lot of weight. And putting it down on a surface, it's possible that it's not a super thick glass. So here is this is the collection jug's lid. Does this screw off or something? Now yeah, I'm not sure about that because it's as though I have to do it this way. See, normally they'll have, like this one here, this is my other collection jug, and the water is kind of warm, it's really warm. I did run it a few hours ago, but it's still really quite warm to the touch, which this won't be. I know this is going to come through colder. It has something to do with the radiator being not as effective anymore. But having a lid on the top, I thought these came with that as standard. Maybe you can just put it like this. Yeah, that works.
That's what you can do, is you just put this sideways, I guess, and then the water's going to drop in there. That's pretty tidy actually, because this one comes with a little metal collection cup, but getting that right so the water doesn't spill sideways is a bit of a mission. But this one, as I said, has got a rubber gasket on the bottom. Stops it slipping on a wet surface, and it protects the glass. And this glass does feel thicker than this glass. This one's made in Taiwan. This one, who knows? You can recommend using a funnel when you're going from this glass into the smaller bottles. But what I used to do when we had our own home setup was carry a 5-liter jug of water separately that I could pour this straight into, get going with another cycle. We're feeding the dogs or giving it to the dogs as well. So we're going through about 8 liters a day anyway. So it's nice to have a 5-liter carafe or something like that, which obviously you've got to keep clean, because you don't want the algae to start building up. You can use a little bit of hydrogen peroxide sparingly to do that. You can also put a little bit of salt. It needs to be proper pink Himalayan salt. It would be the best, or a super good sea salt. And it only needs to be a few bits, because this distilled water doesn't carry electricity or electrical charges, whereas putting a little bit of salt will help with that. And obviously, as we're electrical systems, then having the potential for that water to do that, I think, is beneficial. However, I'm not strong on the debate. Distilled water by itself is great. Your diet has got salt in it, but a lot of people, highly recommend adding a little bit of some salt to the water. So I think that's really it at the moment, and that actually it's quite a simple solution to this, because you really don't want this open during the day. Dust will fall in there, and that's obviously going to interfere with the cleanliness of your water. So the Megahome 4-liter distiller, it comes in 2 options. This is the slightly higher end option. It's hard to be sure whether it's that you get a plastic housing instead of this aluminium casing, a slightly different looking hood for the cheaper option, and they're currently doing a sale. You can get between 30 and 40 pounds off the price of one of these, so it could be as low as 209 pounds, perhaps as much as 230 pounds for this version here. Either way, I would highly recommend you either go and check out the Megahome, or go and find a cheaper option if that's your bag. Obviously, from an electrical point of view, how much this costs to run versus a different one, a cheaper one, I can't say, but it may be a factor. The electrical cost on this, I have, at the best estimate I have recently, is that it's about 70 pence per cycle on the electric. And I know that from we stayed at a house that had one of these smart meters, and I ran it in the morning, and I saw how much the meter went up during that time, and it was about 70 pence. Now, don't quote me on that, but even if it was like £1 for 4 liters of water, at 25p a liter of pure water, you can't. Your health is worth so much more. Macular degeneration, Alzheimer's conditions, arthritis, skin conditions. Think about it. If you were putting your hands into a chlorine bath every day, it would irritate them. After a few weeks, they would break up. The skin would break up. Well, the same is true with the stuff we drink from the tap. It's got chemicals in it for obvious reasons, and those are going to do various sorts of damage to your internal systems, because it's such a fine powder that comes out of these. Where is the other one? Let me just show you. This is the one that broke down recently, so I haven't cleaned it. But when you look inside there and you see these flecks here, this powder, these flecks, this is age spots on your skin, under your skin. This is macular degeneration. This is brain stem degeneration. Is your body having to process all of this muck? And I can assure you, when we came down here to this house at the end of, I used this for about a month before it packed up. Yeah, and a month prior, since I'd properly cleaned it, like it looked almost as good as new. And every time I do a cycle, I tip it out, I wash, spray it out. I don't always use the scourer, but this is how your body is being weakened. aside from the fluoride in the water issue, which obviously is massive for your pioneer. So you don't need this. You can have perfectly pure water. Get a distiller one way or another. Check out the Megahome, go and do your homework and see which one works for you. Cheers.